Hello, Cosmic Witches. Welcome back to another episode of the Divine Gossip Girls podcast. I'm your host, Maggie, along with my co hosts, Carly and Sophie, and we've got some fun witchy magic. We are really leading into the cosmic witches of it all today, and we are talking about the spring equinox, the astrological new year. They fall, together with the start of Aries season and the actual spring equinox itself. And this is what is often called, and what I like to call, the energetic new year. It's the bright, fresh energy of spring, of rebirth, of the fresh seasons, of just, the earth coming back to life. And then we have the cosmic astrological new year of it all. Then we kick off also with Aries season, which is that what they call the baby of the zodiac. So it's just really like impulsive, fresh, fiery energy that is going to re-inspire you, reignite your muse, and really get that movement going. So I always love this time of year. I always really, really feel that new wave of energy come in. I really relate to this New Year way more than I do with the calendar New Year back in January, or even the Lunar New Year. I know some people really feel the Lunar New Year, but I really, really subscribe to this one. I think Carly and Sophie feel the same way. This bright, fresh energy of spring really is what kicks it all off for us. So today we wanted to talk about the spring equinox with you all and talk about some of our practices, some of our intentions, and just get chatting about what we hope the astrological and the energetic new year will bring. So without further ado, let's just jump into today's episode. Hey Cosmic Witches, Divine Gossip Girls here, your one and only source into the spiritual happenings of the cosmos.
Ever wonder what this month's energy will have in store for you? What the planets and stars are even up to? Or if the universe can just help you catch a break already?
Well, lucky you, because we have all the spiritual secrets to tell. Get ready to sip on your weekly dose of divine tea.
So just to start it off, I want to tell you the exact time and date of the astrological energetic new year of the spring equinox. So the spring equinox is technically on March 20th, 4:06 a.m. Central European time. So like my time in Copenhagen is at 4:06. Sophie's time in the UK would be 3:06 a.m. Whereas Carly, I can't do the math right now, but it would be in the evening. It would be in the evening, I think 10 your time or something, 9 or 10. And so depending on where you are, it might be the 19th, it might be the 20th, but you know what? That just gives us a lot of sort of free will to choose which day works the best for you. If you want to do a little ritual, if you want to get into those practices, because it's so early in the morning and so late at night, you can really say the 19th works better for me or the 20th works better for me, and fly with that day to give yourself that fresh start. I know for me, I love to just do like a big clean of my home. I like to open all the windows, sweep the dust out, just really get nice and tidy, fresh energy, cleanse my home. I have a few other witchy tips that, we can get into, but Soph and Carly, how do you like to really even just a simple way that you like to kick off the energetic new year?
Personally, I agree. Well, 100% Maggie, I agree with you. Around wintertime, I feel like for me, January just is a month in which like the energy just kind of feels like it's building off of the previous year still. And I feel like it's just it's almost like a heightening of energy up until March for me. Like it's like, all right, we had themes kind of flowing through 2023 that I feel like there was just so much energy in January 2024, like so many new things, so many, not like new things, but so many things being kicked up, being shifted. It was a bit of New Year energy, but I just feel like it was more of everything that 2023 led up to. It was like the big bang in January.
I felt like a purge. It's like I was just purging.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I really was like, okay, this was 2023, and now I'm taking these 3 months and I am letting shit go and I am purging.
Yes.
And it is leaving. And like the day we're
It's been a
even
purge.
doing like recording this today, I feel like has been the biggest purge day of all. Yeah,
I
purge of
felt that as well. Like,
everything.
that way where it's like you can still feel the lingering energy of
Yes.
last year, and I feel like we're getting to this point of like the actual astrological new year where it's like, right, okay, like let's genuinely like purge, release, like let go what you do not want to take
Hmm.
forward into this actual astrological new year. And I felt like I can feel like a lot wanting to come to the surface, because it's like I want to go, I want to stay here. Like, can you leave me here so you can like expand into like a more evolved energy? So I feel that so
I
much.
always think Pisces season is going to be like woo woo spiritual because it's the most spiritual sign, and my moon is in Pisces. So I'm always like, oh, I can't wait for Pisces season. And then instead, because it's right before this time that I feel so heavily, it's like you're letting shit go. You are cutting ties and
Yes.
purging. And I'm like, I'm going
It's
through
like the
it.
moon. I feel like it's the moon card in tarot is
Yeah.
Pisces season, where it's like shedding light on all the shit that needs to be
And the
seen and left.
and the death card, it's like you are closing doors, you are cutting those cords. Like we are making space to step into the new season.
100%. So if anyone listening to this is sitting there like, yeah, I feel like the past, like the first couple months, first few months of 2024 have just felt like this time of kind of transition and this time of things just being purged or presented to be let go, or you just feel called to kind of do new things and you're still like, what the hell is going on? I just know. And I've been saying this for so long that when March comes along, something big is coming. Like it's almost been like, okay, little things are bubbling up. And then the past 3 months have been like, nope, you gotta address the water's boiling. Like you gotta you gotta address this pot of things that's been simmering there all year long. And finally, I feel like it's transforming into something. We've been whipping up a little witch's cauldron this past 2023, and now the spell is being ignited in March. I don't even know what analogy is coming to mind here, but personally for me, I just being like a energy cleanser and an energy healer, I love any time in which I get to do a big old purge, and I can already feel the energy of the astrological new year, the spring equinox coming about, because I did the biggest clean out of my closet, of all my makeup, of all my like things in my beauty cabinet. Just I had things sitting around that I've had for 10 years. And like the makeup palettes, I'm like, why do I still have this? I haven't been using it. So for me, really cleansing my physical space comes first. And then after that, I feel like now I have the ability to address more of like the mental and the emotional and the energetic that wants to be released. But I actually have a really old podcast episode, and it's like a spring cleanse, and it's a mind and heart dump that you guys can go and check out. Maybe we can link it below in the show notes, but I kind of guide you guys through what I do anytime I want a big old cleanse. And that is, I do a mind dump. I just release anything that is on my mind, and I like open up the floodgates to my mind, because I feel like a lot of times our mind feels closed off and like all these thoughts and ideas are just swirling around. So a mind dump to me is like I'm opening up the doors to my mind and just letting it all flood out on paper. So I do that, and then I dispose of the paper somehow. Like I do my little cleanse, I do my little dump. It's basically where you write down everything you're thinking, and then you write down everything you're feeling and the parts of your body and everything that's weighing heavy on you. And then you X out the things that aren't in your control and you surrender them to the universe. And then you circle the things that you do have control over and you address them, and you say, okay, when am I going to tackle these things? How do I want to do them? And then once you have kind of those things written down on a separate sheet of paper, then you take the old one out and you dispose of it. You can cut it up and burn it safely, or you can just rip it up and like, I'll rip it up, and then I always will like punch a pillow to get all the excess energy out and just really release anything.
And it's so important to like burn and rip it up, because I always will say this when you're like writing a letter to the universe, that you're just like getting stuff off your chest. It's like you don't want to write it all, purge it all out, and then look at it and just take it all back in. Like,
No,
you want to
so many
not
people
read
do
it.
that.
You want to just get rid of it. You're purging.
Get it out and do whatever really helps you to purge it out. Like if ripping it up, for me, like I mentioned, I rip it up and then I always feel like I have this big energetic like release that needs to happen. So that's why I punch my pillow, and which maybe sound weird, but the second you start to kind of like punch a pillow, and I'm not like very angry person, but that's how I will get any emotion out. Like I'll start crying after that. I'll just release then. So kind of doing that is like a mental and heart thing. And then of course, my tried and true, lighting some sage or Palo Santo. Just for those to know, sage is used to cleanse a space and Palo Santo is used to uplift a space. So if you first want to cleanse with some sort of cleansing, you can get some locally sourced sage, some like ethically sourced sage, and then just ask. I always very kindly ask to work with Mother Sage's energy. So just making sure you're honoring the plant, everything in our entire universe has energy behind it. So working with the plant energy and cleansing your space. Every room you can go corner to corner, call on your spirit guides, call on your highest self, and ask for them to support you in cleansing, clearing. Open all the windows before you do it. Let it out. And then maybe you go through and invite in some loving energy with either Palo Santo, or if it's too smoky, you can just walk through and just like lift up your arms and say, welcome in loving divine energy. Music, sound healing, anything.
Music.
So that was a lot, but I wanted to share those things.
I'm excited for spring. Today, like the day we're recording this, it's just the end of February, and we had such like a kind of like spring teaser day in Scotland.
It smelled like spring here. Like I went on a walk and I like took this deep breath and I went, oh my gosh, it smells like spring. It's February, but I could feel it and it made me feel so good.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like when I woke up this morning, the sun like comes up this side, so like the sun comes into my room in the morning and it was like beaming in. I was like, and it's like as if my body's like, yeah, let's get up. Whereas like in winter, it's like, hibernate, leave me alone, don't want to come out my bed, so like to feel that aliveness like in my body because of spring, like it feels so fucking good. So like today, like I woke up, like I like opened my windows, like even though it's still pretty cold, I'm like, get that fresh air in, get the blue sky, the blue sky, the sunshine like in the room, into my energy fields, like bringing it in. But something like spring and summer like are my like that's definitely where I feel like I belong, like in that energy and that aliveness. So I just feel like things are more alive in spring and summer. And like I went for a walk earlier on and like there were some flowers starting to blossom and I was like, we're coming alive. It's like this Snow White. We're like all, is that right? It's Snow White. We're all like the flowers and the animals like come alive and come out from like hibernation. And I feel like that's what's happening. But I feel like what I do to kind of like welcome in spring is like I'm gonna be doing like that last like cut of what I don't want to take forward, the patterns, the cycles, the beliefs that I don't want to take forward. I actually have like a cord cutting workshop I have it inside of my membership intentionally before we step into spring, for my members to like really let go and release and cut those cords that they don't want to take forward into this new cycle, into this new season, into this new astrological year. So I'm going to have that like final punch, because like I said earlier, like I can still feel them, and I even like I've had experiences of me like witnessing like these ties are still here, these cycles are still here. Like, are you going to take these forward, or are you going to leave them in this year? Like, are we leaving them and are we like shutting that door and leaving them there? So yeah, like having that final purge, having that final kind of exercise with myself of what I'm not wanting to take forward into this new year. And what I'm going to do this year, I think, because this past year I've been getting into like cold water therapy and cold water dipping, I think I'm going to take myself on the spring. I can never pronounce the word equinox, whatever word it's called. I can never pronounce it. I think it's a Scottish thing. I feel
Equinox.
Equinox. And yeah, I feel like I'm going to take myself or go to an event or something, a cold water event, and use the water to cleanse away anything that I don't want to take forward into the new year as well, and have that cleanse in the water in nature, and then come back and like obviously cleanse my space, open my windows. Like I love opening my windows. It's so funny because my roommate, my flatmate, we've been living together for almost 4 years, but we're also like very opposite because she likes winter, she loves dark, she doesn't like opening our curtains. I'm like, the sun is shining, open your curtains, let it come in. She's like, no, keep them closed. Whereas I like open all the windows, I open all the blinds. Like the first thing I do when I wake up is open my windows, open my curtains, open the blinds, like before I do absolutely anything, because I'm like, bring in this new air, bring in this new day, these new beginnings. So if you can't already tell, like I'm just so excited for spring. I'm so excited for this energy of new beginnings. Like I feel like it has been quite like a challenging year this past year, another challenging year, and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm like, right, okay, let's go. Let's have a bit more fun, new energy, expansive energy, like together before we move further into this episode. I want you just to open up your arms with me. Just breathe into your heart center and just say, I'm open to new beginnings. I let go, I leave any disempowering patterns, cycles, beliefs, people, things, situations in the past, in the last astrological year. They are not longer coming forward with me. I'm open to the miracles, the opportunities, the beginnings that are waiting for me, and I step into them. That's the energy that I'm going into spring with, and I'm excited.
Well, hopefully so. If we get through these governmental hoops I've been having to jump through, maybe I'll be in Scotland for the equinox and we can do that together, because that
I
sounds like
love
fun.
that so much. Like I'm gonna
And
find,
then
I'm gonna
you'll
find
just
some,
hop over to India.
yeah,
Yeah, easy.
hop over there.
Hop over.
I'm definitely find something to do. Like I've connected with a bunch of like people that do a lot of events like this over the past year as well. So I'll definitely be going to something. So please come and join me because I'm excited to go step into this step into spring. I feel like
there's good energy.
I do
it's
too.
given
Good
good
energy.
It's given expansive energy. It's given new beginnings, and I'm just like, I feel like for me, the past while, I've been like craving change or like craving a shift in energy. Because like I said, I've been in my apartment for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July, and I feel myself getting comfortable. I feel myself like holding on to old ways of being, holding on to old patterns because they're attached to this place, you know? So I feel like spring, I feel like this next year is actually going to be bringing a lot of change, a lot of new beginnings for me. And I am scared and it does bring up a lot of fear. But I want to lean in and I'm like, right, okay, let's go. Open the doors, please.
And on a back to the beginning note, the one thing that I would invite you to do, that I invite people to do in the calendar new year or whenever you're just stepping into this new fresh energy, a little like witchy tip is to take a little bit of cinnamon and blow it through your front door. It signifies bringing abundance into your home, like welcoming abundance into your home. You don't even have to do this on a new year in fresh energy. If you just want to welcome in that abundance, if you feel like that flow hasn't been there, just take a little bit of cinnamon, blow it through the door. Don't sweep it up right away, because then it's like you're welcoming it in, then you're like, see you later. So just, you don't have to take a ton, just take a little bit, put it on your hand, blow it through your front door, and welcome that abundance in. Welcome the abundance into a whole new abundant year. And I thought from here, I really just thought of this. So I'm putting the girls on the spot here, but I thought what we could do is each say an intention for ourselves for the energetic new year.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew.
But twist.
Oh,
we're
no.
also going to challenge each other a little bit, and we're each going to give each other an intention, because we know each other so well that I feel like we can set our own intentions, but we can also push each other with this Aries energy, push each other to be like, I'm going to set this intention for you. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
kind of
like,
fun.
we're gonna like call each other out here.
Yeah.
Like, we may not be friends after this end. Plot twist, the changes.
I think
Divine Gossip Girls is over.
it's become Divine Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Whose
Me, I'm
podcast will it be? We just have like 3 separate ones. Divine Gossip Girl 1.
Divine Gossip Girl 2. Divine Gossip Girl Scotland. Divine Gossip Girl.
It's kind of like how, you know, how in the past life thing we have the vision that Sophie passed the torch down to, or Maggie passed it down to Sophie, and Sophie passed it down to me. So Maggie's Divine Gossip Girl 1, Sophie's Divine Gossip Girl 2, and I'm baby Divine Gossip Girl 3.
I think it'll be fun. It doesn't have to
first.
be, it doesn't have to be a big challenge. It can be just something also fun for each other to do.
And you go,
But
Maggie, you go first then.
I think that my intention is to slowly get back into like a morning routine and my different routines. I feel like because of my traveling and then because of my living situation not being super comfortable with it, I have like given up all morning routine. And also because I love to meditate and I have scratches under my eyes right now, so I'm using eye drops, and so when I close my eyes to meditate, it's really uncomfortable. So I've kind of just like thrown everything away. And I think what I keep trying to do is like jump into it full force, because for so many years I was doing this like big long morning routine of like working out, meditating, journaling, doing like another spiritual practice, pulling a card. Like I had this really big morning routine, and now that I've been out of the habit for months now, I can't expect myself to just jump in full force. I need to start slow. So I think my intention with the new year is going to be to just pick one thing and start there and not expect myself to do all these things. I think I'm going to pick one thing in the morning and one thing at night. And that's what I'm going to do. What are your guys' intentions for me? I'm excited.
I feel like I was honestly going to say something along the lines of creating more of a routine for yourself just after, you know, moving through a bit of a like living situation that feels less stable, like creating stability for yourself despite what is going on around you, like coming back to creating that like safety within yourself and reconnecting to that sense of grounding. I feel like for you, your root chakra and your sacral are 2 things that really could be connected to and strengthened, like that feeling of reconnecting to the earth more too. Like maybe you take a little trip, a little weekend trip to some sort of mystical place near Copenhagen.
Scotland.
Or that.
To Scotland too.
It's my plan. There's literally flights, Carly, for like $40 round trip. Like I need to go.
That sounds like a dream. Yeah, I totally see that for you though. Like coming back to your like grounded nature, and then that's just going to like activate your flow way more, and you'll just feel more in your energy again.
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah, similar to what you said.
I feel like it's similar, but my intention would be like, I feel like for you to like, it's not that you lost it, but like take more of your power back. I feel like, and I know that I can be guilty of this as well, like giving your power away to like situations and to people that don't deserve your fucking power, don't deserve your energy, like taking that back and not allowing certain people to really impact you on such a detrimental way.
Yeah, I feel like, and like the good news is for everyone listening, I feel like, and I think the girls can back me up, knowing what has been happening, I think I really did that yesterday and today. So maybe it's marking that new energy and like really embracing that moving forwards. Yeah. So, thank you guys. Who wants to go next? This is fun.
This is fun. I'll go if you want. Or unless, yeah.
What's your intention, so?
I did have it. Now it's gone. Yeah, I feel like this is like a little one that's just come through. There's probably more, but like, I feel like my intention is to, and I'm starting to do it, just like Maggie's starting to do hers. But like, I feel like I want to lean deeper into coming out of my head more and into my body, because I can get like, surprise. Like this is may come as a surprise to some people, but like I I can be so like in my head and my ego, like as a Leo, but just like as an overthinker as well. And I obviously am getting more into like I do facilitate embodiment practices. Like I lead myself through them. I do it as a coach, as a healer, as space holder as well. But leaning more into that each and every day, doing a practice or doing multiple practices throughout the day to come out of my head and into my body, especially when I am working as well. Like it's important for me not to be sitting at my desk for long, sitting in front of my computer for long, because that's when I start to get in my head and I start to get frustrated and I start to get agitated. So like in those moments, allowing myself to come back into my body, because that's where my wisdom lies. That's where my magic lies. It doesn't lie within my mind. And I know that I don't create from my mind. Like that's just not where I create. I create from like my body and I create from my heart. So I just want to set the intention to deepen my relationship with my body and with my heart and come like intentionally come out of my head more often every single day.
Mine kind of goes with that. Like mine to you was actually going to be to also like bring in some mindset work into your intentions with like affirmations and like what I would really love, and we kind of talked about this like I think last week or something, but what I would really love to see for you is like setting the intention to actively change your vocabulary around the things that you say. Like you'll say things, you get very stuck in that like close, like I'm always telling Sophie like open, you gotta open, and Sophie is actually so much better at it now to be like, yes, you're right, now I need to open. A year ago, this is where healing comes in, right? Sophie was like, I'm going, you gotta open, and she's being like, I'm as open as I can be. Yeah, and I'm like, you're not open, we always joke that like I hold space for Sophie, but I'm also the one who's like, I'm gonna push you.
You're like, no,
But
anytime we're on a call, it's me sitting back and it's Maggie like, come on, Sophie, you got to do it. Let's go. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
Charlie's like, yeah, like it's okay, like ground, like lean back, it's okay. And then Maggie's like, no, bitch.
do it. But it's also, I know that like sometimes you can lean back, but sometimes I know you that when you lean back, you're just leaning back into that ego, into that fear, right? And I'm like, you need to push yourself out of it. And this is something I was talking to you about doing the other day. It's like your mind is so powerful in like with your ego and your fear. And like when you start doing these affirmations that I sent, I was like, do some of these affirmations, make yourself a little EFT. It's like, maybe this is the intention for you to set for the new year, to make your mind a safer place for you to be.
Yeah, I like that. Like obviously like setting the intention to come, like it is important for me to work with my body and my heart, but yeah, like making my mind a safer place for it to be, like that makes sense.
Even just using
like
those affirmations, right? Like my mind is a safe place to be. I'm safe within my mind, like those sort of things, or these things that you're like, I can't do this. Even if it doesn't feel real, you're like, I can do this and it makes me feel powerful, right? Whatever that is, fill in the blank. So I'm not like airing all your secrets, but like I can do blank because I'm strong, or whatever. I can do hard things we were just talking about. And so really leaning into that and being like, okay, yes, I can do these hard things. I can do these things. And even if at first it feels like you're just saying these things and it feels like absolute bullshit, you can like do them. And the best affirmations feel like the bullshit alarm is going crazy because you don't believe them, and that's why you need to affirm them to yourself every day. So long-winded, but that's my intention.
So like the intention for me is like making my mind a safer place, but also like it is important for me to tap into my body and my heart as well, because
I want to say something that I feel like could help. I feel like it's the idea of bridging your heart to your mind, because the
EFT
work you've been doing
for that.
No, definitely.
Right, and the work you've
100%.
been doing has been, you see them as two separate things, but they actually work so much together. And the more you strengthen that connection between your heart and your mind becomes more of a safe space to be in, because it's always connected to the loving and compassionate aspect of your heart that you've opened already. It's like your heart is so much more open. You've taken those cages off, but now you see it as separate from your mind, as the mind as the kind of evil thing that keeps you in your ego. But like, no, the mind is actually just like a dog, and you just have to train it. And you need a loving like owner to
Can my
kind of
mind
steer
be a
it.
Labrador? A
It
golden
can be
Labrador?
of course, it can be anything you want. And your mind just needs the loving energy of a calm, compassionate trainer to help
Yeah.
it
My
steer in the
heart.
direction.
My heart.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
You
your
need to
heart.
let your
So
heart lead
speak
your
to your
mind.
mind with your heart. So
Oh, I
whenever
love this. I
your
am
mind is like
loving
chatter
it.
chatter, you tune into your heart and say, what would my heart tell my mind right now? And it will always tell you what your spirit would say to you, which is always something empowering. That's what I do. I always say, spirit, what would you say to me? And it's always something like very kind and divine and loving. And I'm like, oh, you're so right. I
I love
forgot
it.
about my
Oh,
truth for a second.
thank you guys. So we're bridging the connection in my relationship to my mind, heart, and body.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Carly, what's yours? This
I
is
think my intention will be to allow myself to flow more into my peaceful energy, because a lot of what I've realized is I'm quite chaotic. Like, I'm always rushing to things, I'm always multitasking, I'm always like, yeah. And I've realized that that is a part of me that I lived in most of my life. It's kind of that fight or flight Carly that's like in a rush and she's like let's keep going. It's also my Gemini, which I love her, but there's also the side of me that is more peaceful and calming, and that's a side of me that I have seen the more I've done this work with myself, the spiritual work with myself. And I know she wants to merge more often, but I'm just so used to being so rushed in life and feeling like I need to get so many things done at once. So my intention is to slow down and take one thing at a time and just remind myself in the moments where I feel like I need to get everything done that, like, you know, focusing my energy in one direction will serve me best right now versus trying to scatter myself in a million different directions. And also letting that energy flow into everything I do. So, like, in my relationships, in my work, like, I just today sent a message to the family and Nanny for saying that I don't think I'm going to be watching the girls this summer because I want to focus on my business. And I've always had like 2, 3 jobs at a time. Like, I want my life to become less chaotic and more like, what I think I'm going to take from India is the feminine flow that a lot
I was
of
literally going to
Eastern
say that.
cultures live
Yeah, I
in.
was going to
Yeah,
say
like a
that.
lot of Western cultures are very masculine driven and very individualistic. And what I want to take with me from this next trip is actually the energy. Like, last time I came home in a feminine, more peaceful energy, and then I went right back into American society and flew back into the needing to be doing a million things at once that really led me to burnout and being sick all the time. And I don't want that anymore for myself. So I'm going to allow myself to surrender to Mother India and let her show me how to be living a life that is more slow and relaxed, although and embrace, like, find more of like that yin yang energy versus it always being like the crazy Gemini, blah, blah, having it be more of my grounded Gemini. Because I know she also has the like witty, intellectual, just curious side, but I can be curious and childlike without being chaotic and stressed all the time. So yeah, what do you guys think?
I wasn't sure. Sophie was like, "That's what I was gonna say." So, did you want to go first, Soph? And I can.
Sophie sent me something on Instagram the other day, and I was like, "You are calling me out." It was, it was like
What
a
was it
meme.
again?
It was a meme where like someone's on like FaceTime with their friends, and then the
Yes.
other person's like sending a bunch of texts, and this person's like, "So what do you think?" They're like, "Sorry, I just gotta send this text to my." That is me, you guys. It's not intentional, but I just will all of a sudden think of something that I didn't do, and then I'll go and do it, and then you guys are talking, and then I'm like, "Wait, can you repeat that?" Sorry. And like, I just want to like stop myself and be like, "No, this is the
Well, I
task
feel
at
like
hand
that
right
kind
now."
of goes a little bit hand in hand with what your intention is as well. And it's maybe being like, maybe my intention for you is for you to be more present with yourself, with where you are with what you're doing, that one task and what you're doing. Like, you're just being here. Like, be here with us. Like, cultivate. And I genuinely feel like you going to India and getting your teacher training, yoga teacher training, like, is going to really, I feel like it really is going to unlock this deeper energy of presence, of flow, of ease, of slowing down. But yeah, like, that kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying. But maybe like when you are like with others or like doing one task, like just being present with that one task. And I know it can be hard because I'm the same as well, and we are humans, and we like we can't focus on one thing for a long period of time, and that's okay. But maybe cultivating a little bit more presence in the like actions that you're taking each at a time, and starting to, like you're saying, starting to unlearn this need to be like so focused on so many things at the one time, and so hyper, like just like so much things going on, but just like allowing yourself to just be like, okay, like, we're here, this is what we're doing, let me just be present and know that that's enough.
Yeah, I really like that. I 100% feel the presence and the energy of just like slowing down
Yeah.
and being with
And it's so
the
funny because I
version of
feel like,
myself too right now, because I feel
yeah,
like I'm going to change a lot.
you are, and I feel like people may be surprised to hear that you are such a feminine led soul, and people probably be
Hmm.
like, but Carly, you are like, you're so AV like this, but like Carly really is like
Carly is chaotic.
Carly's like chaotic, but I love it. I love it. But yeah, like maybe that intention going in to, and like you're still young. We're all still young, you know. We're still like expand ourselves, learning more about ourselves, like shifting and all those things. So like yeah, like maybe this year is a like the year of like slowing down and being more present with yourself, and knowing that that's enough, and actually success can find you even easier and more aligned from
Oh,
that.
I
This is
like that.
so this is so
I love
aligned
that.
like with what I was going to say, this idea that success can find you. A big thing that, because you'll be traveling in the new year, my intention for you was last year at this time you were traveling and you were
Hmm.
going through this big thing of like, I don't know what to do in my business while I travel. And
Oh
it
my
was a
God, I
really
forgot. We
big,
literally had Zoom calls when I was in
yeah.
Asia.
And I would like push you. I'm like, just capture what you're doing. Like, people will love to see you like living this manifestation. And I think it's like extra up for you this time because not only are you like living this manifestation of travel, but you're also getting your yoga certification, which in itself is very spiritual. So, this idea of being present, it was so funny when you were saying this. It's like this idea of being present and having one focus, but realizing that all these things that you want to multitask actually get to be like empowered by that one focus
Hmm.
is kind of what I want to push you to do. Like, mine is more business side of like pushing you to still be like active on, not like in your business of holding sessions obviously, but active on your social media by like cultivating presence. Like, it doesn't have to be this big woo woo spiritual educational big thing of, oh my gosh, let me teach you about spirituality, let me channel this message from spirit for you. But it can literally just be your peaceful mornings and like taking a snapshot of it and putting
Hmm.
it up on your stories and just sharing and being just like in the moment in your business as well. Like, not having to do all this planning for your business, not worrying how it's changing, but just be like, hey community, come along with me as I step into this. And I say this to you because this is what I do every summer. So like the past 2 years, right? I'm like, this past summer,
Hmm.
I didn't do that much work, but it was like, hey, I'm in Italy. Come along with me. Like, let me share
Yeah.
what I'm doing here. And that's my push to you, is like, you can be present in that moment, and your intention is to flow with yourself and know that that is enough to really feed your business, your audience, your community by just
Hmm.
bringing them along with those moments with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. I feel like that's definitely something that I already am feeling into because I know last
Mm-hmm.
time I went on my travels, I was like, oh my God, I need to write emails every week and I need to figure out how to still show up and share about this one thing. And just that kind of all melted away after the first month because I realized that didn't feel right. Like I was just meant to be in the moment and experience. And then that's when I started sharing messages that were just channeled, because it would just be like, I'm experiencing this and this is what I'm learning from it. And now let me go and share that with my audience. And that's how my business flowed into what it is now. So yeah, I know things are unfolding, but just allowing myself to lean more and capture that energy and let it, like, embody it as I come home to, not just have it be something I experience while I'm in India and then once I come back to the US lose it all. Like, I think my last trip I was integrating so many other things when I returned home that more embodied feminine part of me slowly fell away. But this time around, it's like the energy that's coming in, I've already met her. I've already met that version of Carly. And now I'm just going to get to meet her again on a deeper level. And that's going to like be more embodied even when we have more chaotic Carly, which I love her. Like, I think even as I grow old and gray, I always want to be my little creative, wise, spontaneous spirit. And I don't think that's ever going to leave me. But I think that level of I can be spontaneous and free and curious while still being at ease and focused and present is something that I need to just realize for myself.
That's the nature of Gemini. That's the nature of Gemini, is that duality. But I think sometimes that chaotic side can come out so much stronger. But
we know.
But the Geminis, the twins, you do have both sides. But I think it's really cool that obviously, as listeners, you'll see this, that obviously we know each other so well that I feel like we had, okay, this is my intention for the other person, and all three of our intentions for everyone
we
just
literally
like,
all
fit
said
so
the same.
nicely. Yeah, they were just like all these different sides of the same thing, which is really, really fun and really cool. And this was a much longer episode than I think any of us planned, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So to wrap up the episode today, I would encourage all of you to set an intention along with us. And Carly, probably not, because she is going to be in India, but if you post this to your stories and you set your intention, Sophie, I'm dragging you into this with me, but Sophie and I will respond with an intention for you as well.
Oh,
Carly, maybe, if Carly is able to, but that's not maybe likely because she'll be in India doing her yoga things. But Sophie and I, at the very least, if you post something on your story, we will look at your intention and give you one as well. So welcome
especially
you into this.
Especially if maybe, like, it's maybe, yeah, like to expand on that or amplify it, make it even more specific as well, because we want that specific intention that you can hone in on and lean into. So yeah, like, that's fun, and we'd love to keep you accountable in that way as well, and set those intentions, because like I feel like some are like, until you get into this work, we don't realize the power of intentions, like setting that intention can really be powerful with just
energy flows where intention goes.
Exactly. Well, and like subconsciously as well, like you put that out into the universe, like you're going to, like that energy is going to support you in leaning into that intention. So yeah, send us your intentions. We'll
send them to
amplify
us.
It for you.
Send this to a friend, even. Like, send it to a friend, amplify each other's, use this practice that we just did. Yeah. Both of you post yours, we will expand. Let's just all like be this big expander for this new year. So hope you enjoyed this much longer than intended episode, but I think all three of us had a ton of fun recording it. But happy Astrological New Year. Have an amazing time stepping into this fresh new energy. Happy Spring Equinox. And we will see you next week for another episode. All right.
Happy New Year.